Have you ever wondered why God allows good people to suffer? Why dreams seem delayed? Why faithful people face betrayal? Joseph knew exactly what that felt like. His story begins in the land of Canaan, where he was the beloved son of Jacob. His father loved him deeply and gave him a beautiful robe of many colors. But what was meant as a gift of love became the spark of jealousy. Joseph's brothers watched as their father showed him special favor. Day after day, bitterness grew in their hearts. Then God gave Joseph two extraordinary dreams. In those dreams, his brothers bowed before him. Even the sun, the moon, and the stars honored him. Joseph shared the dreams, not realizing they would make his brothers hate him even more. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they watched the flocks. As they saw him approaching from a distance, they whispered to one another, "Here comes the dreamer." Their jealousy had become hatred. They grabbed Joseph, tore off his colorful robe, and threw him into a deep, empty pit. Imagine calling out to your own brothers for help and hearing only silence. A short time later, a caravan of traders passed by. Instead of killing him, they sold him for 20 pieces of silver. Joseph was carried away to Egypt as a slave. His dreams seemed shattered, but what Joseph could not see was that God was already working behind the scenes. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer in Pharaoh's palace. Even though he was a servant, everything Joseph did prospered because the Lord was with him. Potiphar noticed Joseph's faithfulness and placed him in charge of his entire household. For a moment, it looked as if life was finally getting better. Then another trial came. Potiphar's wife tried to tempt Joseph every day, but Joseph refused. He chose to honor God instead of giving in to temptation. One day, as he ran away from her, she grabbed his robe. Angry and embarrassed, she lied and accused Joseph of attacking her. Potiphar believed the false accusation. Joseph was thrown into prison. He lost his freedom, not because he had done wrong, but because he had done what was right. Have you ever felt misunderstood? Have you ever done the right thing and still suffered? Joseph did. Yet even in prison, God never left him. The prison became God's classroom. Joseph faithfully served there and soon earned the trust of the prison keeper. One day, two of Pharaoh's officials were placed in the same prison. Both men had troubling dreams, and Joseph explained their meaning through God's wisdom. Everything happened exactly as Joseph had said. One of the officials promised to remember Joseph after he was released, but he forgot. Days turned into months. Months became years. Joseph waited. He prayed. He trusted God. Then one morning, everything changed. Pharaoh himself had troubling dreams that no one in Egypt could explain. Finally, someone remembered the young Hebrew prisoner. Joseph was quickly brought before Pharaoh. Standing before the most powerful ruler in the world, Joseph said, "It is not I, but God who will give Pharaoh the answer." Joseph explained that Egypt would experience 7 years of great abundance, followed by 7 years of terrible famine. He advised Pharaoh to store grain during the years of plenty. Pharaoh was amazed. He saw God's wisdom in Joseph. That very day, Joseph went from being a prisoner to becoming the governor of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. Only God can write a story like that. During the 7 years of abundance, Joseph prepared the nation. When the famine finally arrived, people from every land came to Egypt searching for food. Among them were Joseph's own brothers. Without recognizing him, they bowed before the governor of Egypt. In that moment, Joseph remembered the dreams God had given him years before. God had fulfilled every word. Joseph tested his brothers and saw that they had changed. Then, unable to hold back his emotions any longer, he revealed who he was. "I am Joseph, your brother." His brothers were terrified. They expected revenge. Instead, Joseph embraced them with tears. He forgave them. Then he spoke one of the most powerful verses in the entire Bible. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. Joseph's story reminds us that God never wastes our pain. The pit was not the end. The slavery was not the end. The prison was not the end. Every difficult season was preparing Joseph for the purpose God had planned all along. Maybe today you feel forgotten. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe your prayers seem unanswered. Remember Joseph. What looks like a setback today may be God's preparation for tomorrow. Trust Him, even when you cannot see the whole picture. The God who lifted Joseph from the pit to the palace is still at work today. He is able to bring hope out of heartbreak, purpose out of pain, and victory out of what seems impossible. If this story encouraged you, subscribe to Bible Cinema for more cinematic Bible stories that bring God's